You are standing 200 feet below the freezing rock of the Swiss Alps. The massive 4-ton steel vault door in front of you slowly groans open. The client arriving in exactly 10 minutes is bringing $1 billion in unregistered, untraceable bearer bonds that need to completely disappear from the global grid.
You are untouchable.
A ghost in the financial machine. But let's rewind the clock 10 years. Because a decade ago, you weren't guarding billionaire secrets. You were just another broke, suffocating American. You are trapped in a cramped, freezing apartment in Chicago, staring at 6 figures of soul-crushing student loan debt. The degree on your wall feels like a receipt for a massive scam. You are grinding 60 hours a week for a mid-level B2B firm, dialing the phone until your fingers bleed, pitching data lists to rich real estate agents who treat you like garbage.
You hustle. You close the deals. You hit your quota.
You generate millions in revenue for the executives upstairs.
And then payday arrives. The moment of truth.
You look down at your pay stub, and your stomach drops. 30% of your commission is instantly gone.
Vanished.
The IRS takes a massive, unapologetic bite out of your check. Then FICA swoops in to steal what's left. And the state of Illinois drains the final dregs. You are working entirely for the government from January to May. Every bonus you earn pushes you into a higher tax bracket. Every time you try to get ahead, the system punishes you for it. You pay rent you can't afford to a massive corporate landlord. You buy groceries that have doubled in price thanks to inflation. And you realize the terrifying truth. The American dream isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. It's a rigged game. A casino where the house never loses. The middle class is nothing but a giant, compliant tax farm, designed to generate liquid cash for the elites to gamble with on Wall Street. You are playing by the rules of a game that was built to defeat you. Saving your money in a bank account that pays 0.01% interest. Hoping one day to retire at 65 with a ruined back. You throw your pay stub in the trash.
You are done.
You realize you don't need a promotion. You don't need a raise. You need a way out of the system entirely. You need to stop being the employee and start being the house. You start digging into the data of the people you cold call every day. The high net worth real estate tycoons.
The private equity monsters.
And you notice something impossible. The richest men on your list don't actually own anything. Everything is hidden behind corporate veils. They use a parallel set of laws.
A financial cheat code.
You realize you don't need permission to use it. You just need the audacity to play their game. The transition begins immediately. You are going to build your own private data empire. But you aren't doing it in your own name.
Never again.
You need a vehicle. A ghost ship to sail these financial waters. You start looking into how the ultra-wealthy actually move their cash. You realize they never use their own social security numbers. They use employer identification numbers.
EINs.
9 digits that separate the tax farmers from the untouchables. You wipe your personal laptop completely clean. You fire up a secure, heavily encrypted browser. You aren't playing by the employee handbook anymore. You are writing your own rules. It's time to exploit the glitch.
It's 3 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Your eyes are bleeding from staring at blue light. You're chasing down the owner of a $50 million commercial complex in downtown Manhattan. You expect to find a name.
A billionaire. A titan of industry. Instead, you hit a digital brick wall. The building isn't owned by a person. It's owned by a ghost. A faceless LLC registered in a Delaware strip mall. Which is owned by an anonymous holding company in Wyoming. Which is shielded by an offshore asset protection trust. That is the anomaly. That is the revelation. The ultra-wealthy do not own assets in their own names. Never.
They realized a long time ago that ownership is a liability. Control is everything. They aren't breaking the law. They are using a parallel legal system written just for them. And right then, at 3:15 a.m., you discover the cheat code. It's not real estate.
It's not stocks.
It's data arbitrage combined with entity structuring. You realize the brokers on Wall Street are desperate. They are drowning in capital but starving for off-market deals. They need the hidden sellers.
The ghosts you just found.
You stop working for your boss and start working for the glitch. You write a dirty Python script to scrape county clerk records. You cross-reference tax liens with shadow LLC filings. You are mining digital gold in the sewers of the internet. By 5 a.m., you have a list. 50 distressed institutional properties. This isn't a lead list. This is a treasure map. You package it up.
A PDF worth its weight in diamonds. You find the hungriest private equity broker in New York. You send a cold email, "I have the off-market inventory you're looking for." He replies in 30 seconds. "How much?" You type back, 50,000. Non-negotiable. He agrees instantly. He asks for wiring instructions. And this is where the broke American would screw it up. You almost give him your personal checking account number. If that $50,000 hits your personal name, the IRS takes 40%. You stop. You breathe. You remember the anomaly. It's time to weaponize the corporate veil. You go online to a registered agent service in Wyoming. In 10 minutes, for $300, you form an anonymous LLC. Your name is nowhere on the public record. You are a ghost. You instantly open a digital business bank account under the LLC. You send the broker the corporate wiring instructions. Now you wait. The longest 10 minutes of your life. You stare at the bank dashboard. Balance, $0. Did he bail? Was it a trap? Then, the screen flickers. A green notification pops up. Incoming wire transfer, $50,000. You just made your entire annual salary while sitting in your underwear. And because it hit the LLC, it's not income. It's corporate revenue. The IRS can't touch it until you decide to pay yourself. The sun is coming up over Chicago. You look at your sad little employee ID badge on the desk. You pick it up and throw it in the trash. You aren't an employee anymore. You are the system. But 50 is nothing. It's crumb money. You need more data. You need bigger buyers. You need to scale this operation before anyone realizes what you're doing. It's time to build the ghost empire. You need layers of protection. One LLC isn't enough. You need a labyrinth that not even the FBI can navigate. $50,000 is a nice hit. But it's just a hit. You don't want a hit. You want a machine. You need to scale this operation off the grid entirely. That first Wyoming LLC? That's just the front door. Any decent private investigator can kick down a front door. You need a fortress. You need nesting. You incorporate a second company. A Nevada holding corporation. Nevada has some of the strongest charging order protections in the world. Even if someone sues you personally, they can't touch the company assets. You restructure everything. The Nevada Corp now owns the Wyoming LLC. And who owns the Nevada Corp? An anonymous trust. You are no longer an employee. You are barely even a person. You are a ghost within your own financial architecture. Now that the shield is up, you open the floodgates. You aren't scraping data manually anymore. You automate it. Server farms in Eastern Europe run your Python scripts 24/7. They pull terabytes of off-market asset data while you sleep. The emails to Wall Street go out automatically at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The desperate private equity firms in Manhattan wake up hungry. They see your proprietary data streams. The ghost assets. They don't negotiate. They wire the funds. $50,000 a pop. 5 times a day. The money starts flooding in. A deluge of digital cash. This is where the average person screws up. They touch the money. You don't touch it. You direct it. Let's trace a single $50,000 payment. Watch closely. The client wires funds from their corporate Chase account in New York. It hits your anonymous payment processor. Stripe, PayPal, whatever. Instantaneously, it's routed to the Wyoming LLC's bank account. It sits there for exactly 30 seconds. Before an automated sweep moves it up to the Nevada Holding Corporation. The money is now sitting in a state with zero corporate income tax. The IRS can see the money, but they can't tax it yet. It hasn't become income for a human being. And you make sure it never does. The Nevada Corp starts investing in other entities. It buys into a real estate development trust in Florida. It purchases intellectual property rights held in Ireland. The money is constantly moving, constantly reinvesting. Like a shark. If it stops moving, it dies to taxation. 6 months in. You are generating 7 figures a month. You ditch the freezing Chicago apartment. You move the physical base of operations to Miami. Why Miami? 0 state income tax. You lease a penthouse in Brickell through the Nevada Corporation. The company pays the rent. It's a necessary business expense. You drive a G-Wagon leased by the company. You eat at 5-star restaurants, paid for by the company card. Your entire luxurious life is a tax write-off. On paper,
You personally earn less than the barista serving your coffee. You have an effective tax rate of near zero. You look out over the Biscayne Bay from your 50th floor balcony. You realize you have become the very thing you used to hunt.
A phantom billionaire. A ghost in the system. Legally untouchable.
Financially invisible. But when you scale this fast, you make noise. You trip sensors you didn't even know existed. Deep inside the US Treasury Department, an algorithm flags your Nevada corporation too much cash, moving too fast, with too little explanation. The system is built to protect the elite, yes. But it doesn't like new players crashing the party. The high life is about to crash into reality. It's Friday afternoon. You are heading out to your yacht.
Your phone buzzes.
It's your registered agent in Nevada. He sounds panicked. That's never good. We got a letter, he says. Certified mail. You feel the blood drain from your face. It's not from a competitor. It's not a lawsuit. It's 3 letters that put fear into God himself.
IRS.
The audit has begun. You are back in the penthouse. The Miami sun feels cold. The certified letter is on your desk.
It's heavy.
It's not from the regular IRS. It's from the Criminal Investigation Division. The guys who carry guns and don't negotiate. You scan the letter. Your heart hammers against your ribs. They've frozen a 7-figure wire transfer. It's sitting in a domestic exchange in New York, locked down. And they are demanding a full forensic audit of your Nevada holding company. They want to know who the beneficial owner is. They are trying to pierce the corporate veil. If that veil breaks, you are done. You lose the money. You lose the anonymity. And you potentially lose your freedom. Federal prison is not a country club. You call your lawyer. He's expensive, but he's calm. You have 72 hours, he says. Before the freeze spreads. 72 hours to sanitize your entire operation.
The panic sets in. This is war.
You start with the physical evidence. The paper trail. The shredder overheats in 10 minutes. You start burning documents in the penthouse fireplace.
Bank statements. Incorporation papers. Client lists. Ash. Next, the digital footprint.
The servers. You send a kill command to the data centers in Eastern Europe. The scraping bots go dark instantly. You pull your crypto ledgers off the cloud.
Too risky.
You move millions in Bitcoin onto physical cold storage drives. You hide the drives. One in the wall, one in a fake soda can. The clock is ticking down. 48 hours left. You have to liquidate your domestic assets. Fast. You call a broker to dump the G-Wagon for cash. You cancel the penthouse lease and eat the deposit. You are turning your life back into liquid capital. You need to move this cash out of U.S. jurisdiction before the freeze spreads to your other accounts. You initiate wire transfers to the Cook Islands Trust. The Cook Islands don't recognize U.S. court orders. It's the ultimate financial panic room.
24 hours left. You haven't slept.
The apartment is empty. You are ghosting your own life. You get another call from your lawyer.
It's time.
The federal auditor is waiting in a conference room downtown. This is the high-stakes chess match you've been preparing for. It's you versus the most powerful collection agency on Earth. You put on your best suit. The armor of the elite. You grab your briefcase.
It's empty. That's the point.
You are going in with nothing to hide. Because you have nothing left to find. You walk into the conference room. The air is sterile. The auditor is sitting there. A humorless bureaucrat in a cheap suit. He slides a piece of paper across the table.
A subpoena.
We know about the Nevada Corporation, he says flatly.
You don't flinch.
You practiced this. Your lawyer speaks for you. My client is merely a consultant.
The auditor pushes harder.
Who owns the corporation?
You lean forward. It's your turn.
An anonymous trust, you say. Registered in the Cook Islands. You see the auditor's eyes twitch.
You hit a nerve.
He knows what that means.
It's a dead end.
The U.S. has no jurisdiction over Cook Islands trusts. He can shout and threaten all he wants. But he can't touch the money. You watch the realization dawn on him. He's not fighting a criminal. He's fighting a system. A system designed by people way richer than you.
You stand up.
The meeting is over. You walk out of the federal building a free man. Broken, liquidated, and officially broke in the U.S. But you know where the real money is. It's time to go pick it up. Your flight to Zurich leaves in 2 hours. You didn't beat the federal government by fighting them in a courtroom. You beat them by outstructuring them. By weaponizing their own labyrinth against them. The IRS auditor sits totally defeated, staring at the schematic on his desk. He traces the money. The profit was generated by the Wyoming LLC. But that LLC is completely owned by the Nevada Holding Corporation. And that Nevada Corp? It is entirely controlled by a foreign entity. An anonymous trust located 7,000 miles away in the South Pacific.
The Cook Islands.
A sovereign nation that completely ignores U.S. court orders. To pierce that final veil, the IRS would have to fly across the world and file a brand new lawsuit in a local island court that protects foreign money. It's a brick wall made of legally impenetrable titanium. They cannot prove you own a single dollar of that frozen money. Because technically, legally and mathematically,
you don't.
You are just the manager. A ghost pushing buttons for an invisible master. Defeated by their own bureaucratic rules, the auditor signs the release form. The federal freeze on the domestic exchange is instantly shattered. The massive wire transfer goes through, completely untaxed. The system tried to crush you, and the system failed. Snap back to reality.
Present day.
You are standing exactly where we started this story. 200 feet below the jagged peaks of the Swiss Alps. The massive, 4-ton steel door of the Alpine Depository grinds open. But the dynamic has completely shifted since 10 years ago.
You aren't the muscle anymore.
You aren't the hired security.
Today, you are the client. The phantom billionaire.
The Swiss vault manager bows his head respectfully as you step into the private room. You reach into your tailored Italian jacket. You pull out a heavy, military-grade physical hard drive. There are no paper bonds in here. That's a game for old money. This drive holds $1 billion in clean, decentralized assets. The pure, untaxable profit of a 10-year data arbitrage empire. You slide the drive into the polished steel safety deposit box. You turn the brass key, locking it away from the world. You turn around and step into the private, glass-walled elevator. You ascend hundreds of feet, leaving the vault in absolute silence. The elevator doors open to the surface. You walk out of the mountain entrance into the blinding, crisp sunlight. You take a deep breath of the freezing high-altitude air. You look down at the world below you.
Untouchable. Unseen. Unstoppable.
You didn't just escape the game.
You bought the board.
The system relies on you staying blind. They want you working 60 hours a week until you die.
But now, you've seen the blueprint.
If you want to keep exploiting the glitches in the matrix, hit the like button to validate the ledger. Share this video to wake up another broke American. And subscribe to POV of Money. Because we are just getting started. See you on the inside.